I'm Lori and I love books, and today I'm going over part 2 of my recent reads. These are the books I read between September 1st and November 3rd. So the first were 3 books of a series, Rainbow Magic by Daisy Meadows. They're sold by Scholastic. And the first one is Carly the School Fairy. The second one I read was Brianna the Tooth Fairy. And the third one was Joy the Summer Vacation Fairy. The first 2 were just okay. Each book has 3 stories. The fairy has 3 of her magical items stolen by Jack Frost, and 2 little girls that are school-aged help the fairy get their items back. The third book, Joy the Summer Vacation Fairy, takes place on an island, and it was a little bit more entertaining because Jack Frost not only steals the magical items, he steals all the sand and shells from the beaches so he can make his own giant sand castle. So I felt that this was a little bit more entertaining to read because the conflict was greater. But I might read more of that series. I don't really know. The next book I read was Mother's Love, Inspiring True Stories from the Animal Kingdom by Melina Garoso Bellows. And these are just photographs which have inspiring quotes or little stories with them. I found the photographs much more appealing than the text because the text was just kind of boring. So I don't know if I'm going to keep this one or not. The next book was on my TBR for a while, and I'm glad I finally got to read it. And that's Kikis Delivery Service by Iko Kadono. And this was what inspired the animated classic by Studio Ghibli. I've seen and I own the Studio Ghibli version and I love it, and so I wanted to read this because I was hoping this would give more than the movie did, more of a story. And it actually is maybe shorter or less of the story than the movie. It is translated into English, so that might be why it seems kind of sparse in parts, or the details might not seem to be all there. But I'm glad I have a copy of this. The next book I found at Goodwill, and it's Swordbird by Nancy E. Fan. And this is basically a very interesting book of the Cardinals and the Blue Jays are starting to fight, and they don't realize that they're fighting because an evil hawk has entered their forest and is causing animosity, and that the hawk has army of ravens that are also causing harm, and he's enslaving other birds to build his castle. And so once they realize what's going on, they want to call on Swordbird, their spiritual savior. And so they need a key and they need a song to call on Swordbird. And so this was a very engaging action-filled story that also had a lot of spiritual elements. So I'm glad I found that. The next book I read was Escape from Hack by Adam Klein and Brian Taylor. This I got at Barnes & Noble, and this was just a perfect book, cover to cover. Loved every bit of it. Actually laughed out loud a ton. Basically, it's a story of a little boy named Charlie Bean who has episodes of bad luck and episodes of good luck, and unbeknownst to him, it's caused by a black cat constantly crossing his path, giving him the bad luck, and a bunny behind him giving him good luck to counteract the bad luck. And the cat is upset because all his plans are foiled by the rabbit, so he is seeing a therapist, as one does, and so he decides one day to cross the rabbit's path. And so he gets caught by a magician and thrown into the world of Hat and has to escape from Hat. The ending of this book was perfection. I just love this. If you need a great book, I recommend this one. 5 out of 5 stars, if I didn't mention that already. The next book I read was Little Golden Book Collection, Sleepy Time Tales, which is 9 beloved classics. So it's just a combination of the other 9 books, so you could get the individual books, but this is all together in 9. I was thinking of using this with my work, but I'm not positive. turning pages, and even, you know, sometimes books get torn, but it's okay because it's, you know, a good sensory experience. So I might take it into work, I might not. I haven't decided yet. The next book I read was Midnight Sisters, a novel by Sarah E. Boucher. I hope I pronounced that right. This is a take on the 12 Dancing Princesses. I had started reading it, I think, in April, and I had put it down because I was finding it very boring. I picked it up again. I still found it very boring. And basically, Jonas is a gardener. He's trying to help the 12 Dancing Princesses because he's in love with the oldest princess. And it, you know, it sounds like it should be exciting, but it's just a guy who's a gardener, standing around a gardener, thinking and talking a lot of the time. It also reminded me a little bit more of Puss in Boots than the 12 Dancing Princesses. So I'm glad I finished it, but I wasn't very much enjoying it. And then the last book I read was a graphic novel called Piper by Jay Asher and Jessica Freeberg, illustrated by Jeff Stokely. And this is a take on the Pied Piper of Hamelin. And, you know, gorgeous illustrations. He's trying to get rid of the rats, and then conflict happens. There's a deaf girl in the village who is getting picked on by the other villagers, and so he's upset because he likes her, and so he gets rid of the rats, and then the town doesn't follow through with its payment, and so that's the main conflict. This was my favorite illustration of them all, just a peacock, and then this is the Pied Piper eating an apple. And so this was a very enjoyable read, very beautiful. I've read another edition of the Pied Piper of Hamelin, so, and then when I was like trying to find this on Goodreads, I noticed there were quite a lot of other books based on the Pied Piper of Hamelin, so maybe I'll do a TBR of that next year. And then I just wanted to remind you before I go that we're doing a Christmas Carol over on Goodreads for the Children's Classics Club, and I would love for more people to join us. And until next time, I hope you have a lovely time reading. Bye!